Hello and welcome to the show today. I'm super excited to be here. Let's see, I've got my chat open. If you want to chat with me, I would love it. If you're on YouTube and you're watching, you can use the chat feature, which is lovely, and then it shows up here in my studio. Today is December 17th, 2024, and we have begun our month of coaching as of the beginning of December. And this is the month where I'm giving free coaching to anyone, even if you haven't done my programs. If you want to go to fearfreehuman.com, and at the very top of it is a email insert where you can put your name and your email, and then you will get notified to be able to coach with me. Even if you haven't studied or done any programs, you haven't done the 14-day, that's perfectly okay. This is really important time for us to be able to start 2025 just out the gate, beautiful, wonderful, using your internal guidance system. So while we're waiting for people to come and join in to get coaching today, what we're going to do is I just want to explain a little bit about how this works. So we are doing live coaching because what I discovered is that everyone has an internal guidance system. And it's when you feel a lump in your throat, a tightness in your chest, or that sick feeling in your solar plexus. Some people are living with this sensation all the time. Oftentimes we call it fear, worry, anxiety, overwhelm, stress, frustration, guilt. When you're feeling doubt, okay, these are just impatience, irritation, just to name a few. And the more that you're living with this, the more that your internal guidance system, which we call IGS for short, is letting you know that what you're thinking is not true or not going to happen, and that you are in the process of moving out of your life's blueprint, that you are moving into a state where you are not going to have the most successful life. And the cool thing about this is that what I've discovered in the past 20 years and working with 40,000 plus people is that anytime we feel this, we have the opportunity by shifting our thinking into getting that opening and releasing the suffering in our lives. It doesn't matter if you have that sister-in-law who's been torturing you for years, or that boss who has not promoted you and has been picking on you in meetings, or that wayward child who beats you up and like says everything in your life is your fault and you're the worst parent in the entire world. It doesn't matter. When we shift your thinking and we get you into alignment, what happens is that you open and you feel at peace. And when you feel at peace, you feel comfortable and you're within your own skin. You have a sense of wisdom and discernment, and you have access to information that you are currently not aware you have access to. The more you stay in this state of flow, this state of opening, the more beautiful life becomes, the more happy and more joyous life becomes. And that's what I want for you. And so I decided to take this coaching live because it works. And not only does it work, but when you move from a closing into an opening and you feel that expanded feeling, you start a new neural pathway. You can't go back to the old thinking, which means you can't go back to the old suffering. And so we're going to dive in here today and we're going to look and see. We've got Beverly who is here, and we're going to start off with coaching. And we got Beverly. All righty. Hi, Beverly.
Hi there. Hi, Zan.
Hey. Hi, good to see your face. How are you?
Yes, I'm very good. I just popped
Good.
in today. I saw your email, and I'm a former um, student, I guess you call me. Yes, and so I just wanted to hear what was going on and refresh
Well,
my memory.
wonderful. So the way this works is if you want to watch, you go to the YouTube channel. And if you need coaching, you
Oh,
jump into the studio. But now that I got you here, you're
okay,
going to have to answer some questions for me if that's okay.
okay, all right.
Awesome. Wonderful.
I've been
Good. I have
taught.
a lot of people
Yeah.
because we haven't quite figured out how to share with people how this works. So we've had a few surprise people, but it's always turned out to be beautiful. And so here we go.
Okay.
So how do you use your IGS now? Do you still use it?
Not so much, which is why I decided I wanted to pop back in to refresh that what causes me stress is not always true, and to change my thought processes.
Wonderful. And so when you first started to, because you know this works. So when you first started to use your
Yeah.
IGS, what was it like for you finding out that your mind is not telling you always telling you what's true?
Oh, it was
Yeah.
wonderful. It's like,
Yeah. How did it
oh,
change when
yeah,
you first started doing
yeah.
it?
You just feel more at peace with yourself, and I've kind of lost my way, and I wanted to to get back into it. I don't know why I lost my way. I don't know. Life gets in the way, and you
Well,
know,
I think we just get used to thinking the way we think. And so unless you have community and a reminder, it's hard to do anything new.
yes, yeah.
You know, I've
Well,
slipped back. I'm
easy to
trying to
fall
eat
back
different
into the old
and
traps.
old crap. Exactly. I
Uh-huh.
mean, I'm trying to eat different and it's really hard because I keep going back to the same old eating habits, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How did you find out about us?
Um, oh gosh, I mean, I took your course maybe a year or so ago for the first, the beginner's course, but I
Yes.
didn't follow through. And so how did I hear about you? Oh, maybe Coast to Coast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Love George
You've been
Noring.
on there several times. Yeah.
I
I think
have.
that's how I originally heard about you was on you've been on Coast to Coast, and
Yeah.
I've listened to that show for decades. So I think that's how I originally was guided to you. Well, I
Wonderful.
guess I was originally guided to you by my guides and my higher self, and
Yeah, a lot of people get here that way. However, they
uh-huh,
really get here, they
yep,
really get here because
uh-huh,
something bigger and more amazing is like leading them. Well, it's wonderful,
I believe
Beverly. I
that.
am so happy to meet you. I'm glad you're on the call today.
Okay,
We've got, I think this is our 11th or 12th show. So there's a bunch of different recordings. We're starting to get better with the tech. I hope you keep coming
okay,
back for more. And do you have
okay.
any stress in your life that you want to clear with me today? Because we can get rid of it right away, especially since you've got some
Hmm.
training.
Oh, gosh.
Anything going on with parents or kids or work or money or anything?
Well, I guess my stress is about work that I've been. Oh, so this is not true. I've been feeling like,
Do you feel
all
that?
right,
Yeah.
I'm almost 70 years old, and
Oh,
I'm still working per diem, and my self-worth, and am I together enough to continue in my nursing practice, making the commute, um, fulfilling my role at work, and just feeling like, I don't know, am I still good enough?
and when you hold that thought, does it open you? No, it
No,
closes you.
it does
When does it
not.
come up? When does it come up? Does it come up at work while you're working?
No, you know what? Actually, it doesn't come up so much at work. It's when I'm not at work that I start to question, like, do I still have this in me? Do I still want to, am I still able to put myself out there with
Okay.
my age and my aging brain? Although I'm in excellent physical health, and I figure it keeps me young and it keeps me sharp. So I'm not sure where those
So,
fears are coming
yeah.
from.
So, what exactly? I think part of it is just, and we're going to check
Yeah,
your IGS, but
yeah.
part of it is just we have a belief system about aging
Mm-hmm.
that in the United States that's false. Personally, I think it's incredibly important for someone who's been a nurse as long as you are, with the experience that you have. I am sure you catch things all the time that, not maybe all the time, but often, that the doctors don't catch because you've seen so many
Absolutely.
things. And you can tell by
Yeah.
the color of someone's skin or the sound of someone's cough or a particular way that, something's going on in the room, even a smell, it'll remind you of something that you had in your history. That was this one
Yeah.
particular thing. And
Yeah.
we can't lose people like you. Now, that does not mean that I'm saying that I'm advocating for you to work until you're 90 years old, but truly, we can't even replicate the experience that you have. My dream would be to have women like yourself teaching other young nurses these little things that you just can't get out of books,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yes,
or ways to
you're
deal with
so right.
family. I mean, I'm sure you even know when a family member's about to freak out and you got to start ushering them out of the
Uh-huh.
room because you can just tell by the look in their eye that you've seen hundreds of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just
Right.
know
Right.
these things. And so when you hold the thought, can I do this anymore? Is this right for me to be able to continue at this age? Open, closed, or neutral?
if I feel it's right for me, I do feel open. I feel
Yeah.
expansive. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. It is still right for me. So that fear is maybe so
Ageism. It's ageism, girl. I
yeah,
bet.
yeah.
You
Because I
know,
know I can go in and, my goal, and I always meet my goal, is to help people feel as good as they can on a day that's traumatic for them.
yeah.
And
Oh,
if I can do that, then I've been successful, and I feel like I'm really always successful. So once I get there, I enjoy everything. But it's that self-doubt, like you said, ageism. Like, am I getting too old? And there's younger people at work, and the
as you're
doctors are all
talking,
getting
feel it.
younger.
You feel as you're talking, feel it. Do
Oh,
you notice the closing?
closing up. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes,
That means
I
those
do.
thoughts are not true.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And in the throat,
Yeah.
look at throat area. Yeah, it's
In
not
my
true.
throat. Yeah.
That's where we undermine our own
Uh-huh.
power. When our throat closes, it means that what we're thinking about ourselves is not true. And it only shows up when we are undermining ourself in undermining our power. And so it's not
Yeah.
true.
It's
It's
not
not true.
true.
And I know it's hard
Yeah.
because the
I
young
do feel that.
whippersnappers are, yeah. And the thing is, and
Yeah.
did it go away as you're holding the thought, it's not true? I am still relevant and needed. And you notice the
Mm-hmm.
throat goes away
Yeah.
immediately.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, this is the key is when you feel that closing and you start feeling that whenever it is, it takes a little bit of work to have that neural pathway get hooked in and last. Okay. So when
Yeah.
it's your job that when you feel the closing, you go, nope, I am relevant. You got to release it. Because every time you go from that closing into a release into opening, and it only takes 5 or 6, 10 times maybe of shifting your thinking, you're starting a new neural pathway and that thought will go away. It's called going neurally extinct.
Uh-huh.
And in
Okay.
the neural
Yeah.
extinction, it'll just stop bothering you. You won't have that thought anymore.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And
That's
especially
not
if you've got these, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, that's all right. That's not true. Yeah. I
It's
feel
not
close.
true.
That's not true. That's not
Yeah.
true.
And so, and it's really important. I think your wisdom is really important. And not every young, up and coming person recognizes age and the benefits of it. So if you do end up coming across somebody who's a little snotty and is arrogant and, have a little grace with them and don't take it personally. It's
Mhm.
their garbage. It's not you. They're
Right.
wrong about anything that they may be putting off as to, old gal or whatever it is that they're throwing at you. Remember
Mhm.
that throat means that's a lie. They're not allowed to do that to you, and just,
Mhm.
release it the same way. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
so good to see your face.
Oh,
I'm so happy
well, thank
you
you,
jumped
Jen.
on, and even if it
Yeah.
was a mistake, I love
Well,
it.
yeah. Right. Yeah. I was just like, I was scrolling through the emails, and I was like, oh, I'm going to sign on and listen. And now, oh, I thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right, beloved.
Okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
hopefully you'll come back, and I look forward
Okay.
to having you around more, girl.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All righty, let's see here. Yay, we got a wonderful comment here from Elise. Hello, I love this channel. Thank you, Elise. I'm excited that we're getting to do this. It's really fun and I can't wait. I've got some creative stuff that we're coming up with and make it more show-like, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we don't currently have anyone else that's waiting for coaching. If someone else pops on, that's great. But I always prepare a little bit of a vignette for, of teaching for times where we don't have the coaching. And it's so perfect that Beverly jumped on. I love how synchronistic the world really is because one of the things that I wanted to talk about is, in the world, we have a lot of people who are arguing. They don't respect each other's opinions, censorship is happening. It's almost like, if you have a different opinion than certain people, the attack is huge. And what I want you to understand is when you use your internal guidance system, if someone comes and they belittle you or attack you or call you names, what's really important is that you stop and notice. if you are buying into that thought in any way, shape, or form, if you are actually thinking, gosh, maybe I am an idiot, or maybe it is that I'm wrong, or whatever it is that kind of is popping up and into your frame, if you're closed, it means that it's not true. You can check what other people are saying about you. If it opens you, it's true. Let's say that again. If you feel a relaxed, neutral sensation or an expanded, open sensation, it's true. I have been called stubborn my whole life. And I want to let you know, it opens me that I'm stubborn. I have tenacity. I think that's the only reason this work was developed. And it took a lot of tenacity to bring in something new into the world. And I appreciate my stubbornness. So when it used to be, though, when somebody called me stubborn, I thought it was a bad thing. And I would feel a sense of shame when I would think I shouldn't be that way. I would close, which means that thought's not true. The thought of me not shouldn't be that way was closing, which means it's not true. And what actually opened me is like when I really owned the thought, I was like, am I stubborn? And I expanded, I opened. And what happened is that opening, I felt it as my truth. And that's how it feels. So even if there's something that someone says about you and it's not true, what you're going to discover is that if it opens you, it means that it is. And then you have choice. Do I continue to want to be this way? Or do I want to shift how I'm being? Do I want to shift the way that I'm, operating in the world, or I'm relating to people? Or, I do remember at one point I had somebody that told me I was really impatient, and I decided to work on my patience because I didn't want to be impatient. And patience is closing, but it did open me that I was really super impatient at work. I wanted everything done now, yesterday. And that kind of pressure as a leader is not something I wanted to put on my team. And so I decided to not be that way anymore. And I began working on patience. So this is a tool for you to, number one, not let other people get inside your head with their BS about what they think, because most of the time they're projecting their stuff that they are onto you. It's a psychological tool. Therapists will tell you this. It's a projection, and you don't have to be engaged with somebody's projection of them putting their ideas on you about what they see in you. Most of the time, people are witnessing themselves, and that's what they are calling out. And if it's not true for you, number one, it won't trigger you. But number two, if it does start to get heavy and you're questioning it, it should open you. It should open you. Okay. So, all righty, let's see here. And follow my master. Hold on. Go ahead. I'm just looking at this thing. So we're going to hop in here. We've got another person that is ready to, Sky is ready to come on. But before I do that, I just want to read these couple of comments. I have AirPods. They are considered. Yes, AirPods are considered headphones. And so let's see, you're watching via LinkedIn. They're in the, thank you for your comments on Beverly. If you're on LinkedIn, I can't patch you in from LinkedIn. What you'll need to do is you go to the email that we sent for today, and there is a link. Each show has its own link, everybody. It's not the same link like you would have in Zoom or something like that. And so you go to the email and you click on the link that says in studio, come into the studio, get coaching, and then you'll show up here in my studio on my board, and I'll be able to call you in. But yes, any kind of headphone, earbuds, anything like that, any device where you can be listening through your computer or your iPad or your phone works great. All right. And then we also have Elise, and Elise says that she followed her openings and got a master's in gerontology, and all that you said about aging opens me. Gerontology is the study of aging and older people. And so, yeah, of course, I love that. I'm a big fan of our wise elders. It's really important. Okay, Sky, I'm going to have you sit, and we're going to get started here. Bringing you on. Hi.
Hello. How is it going today? Hi.
Pretty good. Pretty good. We got some stuff happening, but nothing I can't not handle with my IGS.
Oh, nice.
What can I do for you?
So I went to one of my properties today, and the tenants that moved out really damaged the place. And I had a big closing. So I'm trying to address the closing by switching my thinking.
So what is the thoughts that closed you? What were the thoughts?
That it's not rentable and that it's a disaster, and that it looks neglected and abandoned, and yeah, it's very closing.
So it's closing. And so in that means that you will be able to rent it, right? And so let's look at that. So as you hold the thought, this is going to be something that we can put together easily and get it rented. Notice if that, just go to the opposite thought for a minute and notice if that releases a little bit and creates an opening.
Okay, let me think here. Can it be repaired easily? I don't know, but quickly, perhaps the next couple of
Now
weeks.
you're using your brain. You're using your mind. You're not using your IGS. And this is normal
Oh,
for
yes.
people who are new, is you have to actually pay attention to what your body is, because your mind doesn't know. You know, a lot of times with new people, they actually make the rental better than it should be for renters, because it takes them a little bit of time to realize, I'm not going to put it up to that massive, perfect quality that it was in the beginning, because people who rent have a tendency to not care. I know I treat it like it's my own home, but I've heard from many landlords that most people don't do that. They don't. And so they don't want to put in the new carpet or the new paint or the things, because people have a tendency to just destroy it and don't appreciate it. So with that, let's look at, together, using your IGS. What is it that, and we always start with the fear, because the fear is what's really going on in your mind. So what are the specific thoughts you have about what it's going to take to get this ready to rent?
My first one was, oh my God, I have to sell because this is so much work. Yeah, and it closed so bad. It was down in my gut.
Okay, well, that's good news.
Yeah, it was a heavy closing. And then I reminded myself that every time tenants move out, the place looks so atrocious that I go through this horrible feeling of, oh my God, why do I do this? You know? And then I reminded myself that it always looks really good after it's been, either repaired or repainted, etc.
Yeah.
And we had a beautiful paint job in there, and I don't know why, but they repainted, but they did such an awful job. I can't imagine why they would do that. Like, it was like, all over the edges of the ceiling, a different color, and it was like one coat instead of two, and it you could see right through it. It was just ridiculous.
I appreciate that. We're going to keep it focused on the coaching, because if I let people just vent, it wouldn't be the same show. We've got to focus on the coaching. All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So what? Yeah. And I understand you should vent, by the way, because it's bad. That sounds awful. And I'm sorry that you went through that. So I'm just looking here. Okay. What are some of the closing thoughts? I want to look and work on the coaching for that.
It was, this is too big for me. This is, although, I mean, I'm not the one doing it. My boyfriend's doing it he found a guy to help him, who has been working on the electrical there. So that's good.
So the closing is it's too big. So it's not true. What else?
That I worry that it'll take too long.
And that closes you. Worry is closing.
Yeah, actually. That does.
As you're speaking, you listen to the words you use and the thoughts you have, because it's always going to let you know. Like, so the example is, I'm worried. That means it's closed. You can already say that. You can already see that. So it's closed. Yeah. It's not going to take too long. What else?
Okay, so it won't take too long. I don't have to sell it. Yes, it looks abandoned and neglected, but because I get a closing with that, it's not actually abandoned and neglected. It's just that they treated it like garbage. And
yeah,
I won't be treating it like garbage. And we always make it look great.
Yes.
Without being perfectionistic.
Yep. And then pay attention to check your IGS about the deposit they left. They didn't have permission to repaint it, did they? Make sure you take good photos. Make sure you take really good photos.
We never, we do. We never take it's not legal in Ontario, Canada, to take what is it called? Damage deposit. So we can't.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. And they destroyed the window. They smashed the window. Again, every tenant breaks the window. What is wrong with people?
What window is it? Let's look at that.
Living room.
Is there a particular way that it could be broken that's happening?
If there, well, whatever way it is, we weren't really told. However, the woman did say that he was violent, and they broke up on account of it. He
Okay.
was violent. He made holes in the walls and the window.
Well, I'm sorry
Like
to
he
hear that.
cracked
But
it.
as far as
Yeah.
you're getting the idea of how to use this, as the closing thoughts, as the worry, the fear, the overwhelm starts coming up for you around this project, right? I want you to stop and notice that's not true. And then you can start looking, and you can do timelines. I mean, you can be like, this is going to take 2, 3, 4 weeks. These are breadcrumbs. It's not a yes or a no. So if you've got an opening for 3 weeks, it could take 4 weeks, but it's in the 3-4 week range because you're following a breadcrumb. It's alignment. And there's always, the world around us is moving in and out of alignment based on how we're participating in it. And so this is not a yes or a no system. And so as you're looking at timelines, as you're looking at what to invest in and fixing the apartment, notice what's opening you and follow the openings. Okay.
Okay.
All
Very
right,
helpful.
Good. And then
Thank
I've got another person. You're welcome. We're going to bring on Allison here. Good to see you, Sky. All right. And then we have Allison. Hi, Allison.
Hello.
Hello. You sound
Can
great.
you hear me?
How can I? Yes,
Okay,
I can.
wonderful.
Go ahead.
Well, first, I'm being struck with the fear of being seen. I know I could go off video, but I would like to see if I can work through it, or just be with it. And well, I don't know. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Is that
No,
that's
I don't
not really the way this works?
That's not the way this works. No. In fact, I highly recommend you do not push through closings. Okay.
Okay.
Because every time you push through a closing, closings mean you're out of alignment. Now there are fears that are opening. And what I mean by that, like excitement, like it's more nervousness about getting on stage and things like that. But I don't recommend pushing through closings. No. So,
Okay.
but it's okay. You're closed at showing up and having it be a problem.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you see what I'm saying? So that's
Say
what
that
we're
again,
looking
please.
at. You're closed about you showing up on video and thinking there's a reason that you're going to be attacked or hurt or there's going to be a problem. And that's closing. That's the fear. The fear isn't about showing up on video. And you're being closed about, I should show up on video closed. It's, I'm going to show up on video. I'm going to look silly, or I'm going to be attacked, or somebody's going to recognize me and I'm saying personal information and they're, I might be embarrassed. All that's closing you, which means that's not true. That's not what's going to happen.
Okay. Actually, in my case, I think which is irrational, a fear of being targeted.
Yeah. And it's closing you.
I see. It's closing me, and it's not rational. And here I am, safe in my abode, and I don't have my last name out there, so
That's all
no one
good.
knows where I am. I don't have any makeup on, but so what?
You still look beautiful. So, what can we do to coach you today? What have you got?
Well,
That's what you're working on.
I would like to make a decision whether I want to go ahead and dive into learning cryptocurrency. I don't know whether it's Bitcoin or I know there's various kinds, but I did buy an inexpensive, less than $100 beginner course, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And when I say, all right, I'm going to do it today, I'm going to start it. It's supposed to be, for beginners, walks you through it every step of the way. Does not involve a lot of investing of money, some, I guess, to do things, but no, not much. I'm avoiding, and I'm not, I know somewhere in my email is the link to access the course, and I could easily find it and search for it, but I am procrastinating. And so procrastinating is something I do. Mm-hmm. And I recall that procrastinating is closing.
It is.
Is that true?
Yes,
okay.
But procrastination, so a lot of people believe that procrastination is like a character flaw. It means you're lazy, you're unmotivated. But what I've found is it's actually one of 4 things. Okay. Number 1, it doesn't need to be done at all. Something that you're procrastinating on is going to fall off your list. Your mind has made up some story that this X thing has to be done, right? Or it has to be done before vacation. I don't know about you, but I used to get everything in my life, try to get everything in my life done before I went on vacation so that I'd feel better when I got back, but it would just stress me out and exhaust me. So number one, it's just going to fall off your list. Number two is that it's not the right time. There's a timing thing. I'm not saying these in order, it's any order. So it's the wrong timing. Number three, it doesn't need to be done by you. There's somebody else that needs to do it. And number four, you're making it too complicated. Okay. And it needs to be simplified. I would imagine that the procrastination is either divine timing, because once you start, you want to probably get through it. Right. I find that for me, at least, there are particular types of trainings, especially the ones that I do on finances, where I really need to keep up with it, or I forget what I just learned because it's really new terminology, new stuff. When I was trading stocks and learning how to do that and learning how to do options and so forth, calls and puts and that, I needed to keep it up. And so maybe it's a timing thing where you got to get it done, or your mind thinks it's more complicated than it is. And so there's a fear that you're not going to understand it, or you're going to lose money because it's too tricky, right? So what we can do is you can use your IGS to look at, is my mind making this too complicated? As you think about, when you're thinking about doing Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but currency trading, not currency, help me, crypto, that's the word. Crypto trade, this crypto, is there a part of you that's intimidated and feeling like it's too much? Like it might be too complicated to understand.
Yeah. Yes.
Does that open you?
Feels opening. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Which means it's not going to be too complicated. I think it's a wonderful thing for you to learn, because there's a lot of things in the news about it. There's a whole bunch of fresh information coming out about how this is maybe something that we may be using in the United States. There's all kinds of banks that are getting involved. It's becoming more mainstream, and you being able to understand it, even if you decide you don't want to do anything with it at this point, right? Is a good thing for you to know as a consumer, as a citizen of the United States and the world. What is this thing that is now becoming of value and becoming more mainstream? So try going into it with just an enthusiasm.
Okay.
Instead of going into it as, I'm going to invest, going to be like, I'm going to just get curious. And either way, I'm going to enjoy being able to have a conversation about it, understand what other people are saying about it, understand what the news is reporting about it, so I can see the impacts it's having. It's going to be an interesting thing for me to know as a human. And if I end up doing it, great. If I don't, there's no pressure.
At least I'll understand, the lingo and, the basic stuff, which, this could end up being something we really use in the United States. And
it could be
potentially other countries. It could be. It really depends on how things go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's very
Is there
helpful.
anything else
Yes.
you're looking at?
Let's see. Well, I have ongoing concerns about my husband, who is going through cancer treatment. And it's like I need to keep, when I've checked my IGS before, and I have thoughts like, I think he's going to be fine ultimately. That opens me, but even just now saying it, I felt a little opening, but the fear is still there as soon as I brought that topic up.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a good one. This is a really good one. There's a few things, okay, about this, and I want to share it with you. One is we become afraid in hoping. Like, what if we hope and our hope is dashed? That's number one. And so we have a tendency to hold back hope, even if we have faith in it. And so what I believe is that true faith, like in the Bible, faith of a mustard seed can move a mountain, faith, right? Comes from the opening. Because here's what it's like, Allison. When you hold the thought, I believe he's going to ultimately be okay, and you feel the opening, immediately if you go, oh, well, what if he's not? You close, which means that thought's not true. And then that should catapult you right back into faith of, no, he's going to be okay. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel he's going to be okay ultimately. We just got to get there. So that's number one. We get afraid to hope because what if our hope is dashed? And then number two, we can feel foolish because our mind's like, yeah, but you don't know. You really don't know. You can't tell people that he's going to be okay. Because what if you don't know and you're wrong? How stupid are you going to look when he dies? Right? And we don't want to look foolish. It's one of the big fears is we don't want to be embarrassed or look stupid with other people. All right. But what I have found, and this is something I want you to understand and to even use, especially when I've had people that I love who are sick. One is that faith, like when my mother-in-law got sick a year and a half ago, and they called us in because she was passing. I mean, it was bad. It looked really, really bad. And her friend called me and she said, I think it's time we need to plan the funeral. And we went like 3 sentences in. She was like, okay, well, I know that she wants to have it at the church and and I said, stop. I'm not getting that she's going to die. I'm open and feeling deeply that she's going to live. And I know that it doesn't make any sense to anybody at all. And they're calling us in to say our goodbyes, but she's going to live. I can feel it. And her friend immediately had permission to say, I feel the same way. I just don't think she's going to die. And you know what? She didn't. And when I went in to see her and say goodbye, I said, I know I'm supposed to be saying goodbye. And she was kind of unconscious. I said, but I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't see you going. And she heard me. And there was a part of her that was like, I don't feel like I'm going yet either. And so there's a real importance. It says in the Bible, is that where 2 or more get together and they prayed, right? That there's agreement, and that I can't remember the exact verse, but basically it's super powerful. So when you hold back that faith and you don't allow that opening to move through you and out into other people and just express it and say it, you're not allowing that energy into the world. And that's really important to be in the world. That is the thing. They have now proven it with scientific studies with the placebo effect, right? Is that if people believe that they're going to be healed and that they have the medication that is the medication that fixes things, they heal. We know this is true. They're proving it. So don't let your silly little mind take that beautiful opening of, I know in the end, ultimately, he is going to be just fine. We just got to get through this piece. Don't let your mind pull that back from you. Because if he was going to pass, you would open. And we would be having a different, beautiful conversation about how to get every juicy morsel out of his life and what you need to do in order for the 2 of you to be okay with this. But we're not, because that's not what you're getting.
Right.
You're getting an opening that ultimately he's going to be good. Stay with that. Plan for that.
And
Plan for that.
He planned for that. Okay. Yeah, I have had an idea. We've done, he's traveled to every state in the United States, except for Alaska. We were going to go in 2020, but, COVID and all that put a wrench into that. And we had, it's 2024 and is ending. But I have had the thought, and I have said this to him, we're going to go to Alaska. It may not be a 2-month camping trip. We may want to do a cruise or whatever.
Yep.
However, but we're going to do it. We're going to get you into that 50th state. And I want to go. I have a few others I haven't been to, but because I can see in him, because he'll make a comment like, well, yeah, if I'm still alive by then, he'll make comments like that. And I think that would be a good time for me to say, I really, what I really feel, which is you're going to make it through this. I mean, it's
and
really
share
hard
your
right
opening
now.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Listen, you need to share your opening with him. It's really important. Number 1. Okay. And then number 2, and to let him know what openings are. But as soon as you said, well, if I'm alive, you closed at his comment. Did you feel that?
I did not, but I believe it because
when he says that, you close.
I really believe he's going to make it. Yeah.
Yeah. So hold the thought again. So, and then he'll say something like, well, yeah, if I'm alive, say that. Just go ahead and say it. I want you to notice.
Okay. And Tim says, yeah, if I'm still alive. Oh, yeah.
Feel that?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know how I missed that. Yeah, I'm getting more embodied as time goes on, as I'm practicing this, but I'm not by default embodied. So this is good for multiple reasons. Okay. All right, I will share that with him. I did try to encourage him to learn this work with me, and he's like, "Oh, that sounds crazy." I don't. But he knows, we've been married 34 years, and he knows he uses the word woo woo. I just consider this to be real. Whatever word you
It
want to
is.
put on it.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, because it's consistent and you can count on it and it's knowable and it works the same way every single time. I understand that it's attached to something that we don't understand, but it's true and it works. And so he doesn't have to believe in the internal guidance system. I just think that you could share with him the closing and the opening around those kinds of comments. That's it. He doesn't have to live his life by that. And then let him know that you're open and what that's meant.
that's great.
That's
Okay.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
just
need
say,
to,
I want you to
say,
understand.
here, sit down with me and do this. And he
No.
knows I'm watching, and this is like my third one, and I want to go back and watch all of them, because I tell you, I learn from you coaching other people. I mean, it really reinforces the concept. So
Yes.
thank you for that.
You're
with
welcome.
respect to my husband.
Well, and that's why I'm doing this out here in public. It was a really hard decision because I know that it's uncomfortable for students and things in the beginning, but the truth of the matter is that my mission is to transform mental fear and to eradicate it from the human species. It's not going to happen in a vacuum. It's got to come out. The other thing I want you to mention to him is that closing sensation. I like to think of it as life force energy closing down when you get tight, because it slows down your capacity to create something that you don't want. It closes down your physical capacity for you to create something that's out of alignment with your blueprint. But it also is life force energy in general. And I think that's why, we call this stress, anxiety, worry, right? Those things are actually contributors to ill health. When they look at disease, stress is one of the factors of why people get sick. It's one of the top 5 in almost all of the top 10 reasons why people die, right? Early, it's in there. Stress is in the top 5. So if you could just have him say, did you notice that tightness? Now let's get you back open. Because the more that he's able to release that tightness and get back his life force energy going, the healthier his cells are. The healthier he will be.
Sense.
All right.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. I love it. Thank
Very,
you for
very
bringing it
helpful.
up. That's
Appreciate
very
it.
important. You are welcome.
Thanks.
Okay. You're welcome. All right. So we don't have anybody else here. We coach until we're done. So we're done with the show today. If you are interested in being a part of this, there's a couple of ways to do that. Number one is you go to fearfreemindexperience.com. There we have a 14-day quick start program that gets you using your internal guidance system. You will feel the expansion and contraction. You'll be given a ton of different ways in which you can access this and use it to clear out closings. The first thing you got to do when you start using your IGS is clear out all the things that cause this tight feeling. Clear out all the worry, the anxiety, the stress, the overwhelm, the irritation, the frustration, and on it goes. Impatience, okay, doubt, guilt. We've got a whole list of things that you need to learn to clear those out. When you clear those out, it almost immediately, I forgot to turn my phone off. What happens is when you clear those things out, you start finding your opening and you're on your life's blueprint, like synchronicity, miracles begin happening. Life begins working out. You feel good. You have more energy. You sleep better. One of the things people report is sleeping better, sleeping through the night. And so that program will get you started. But also in that program, you get a month of coaching with me in this setting. And so that is a wonderful way for you to be able to participate in this. And then from there, we have other programs that you could do. But at least get that 14-day quick start in. And that's at Fear Free Mind Experience. The links are in the description. And then also, you can also join the email list for this month, because you don't have to purchase a program to coach with me this month. You can get on the email list and then show up here. And I'm sending out the links. All the shows have been scheduled. I will be sending them out. You'll see them on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, please subscribe. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, the channel can be monetized, and it's not about the money. The monetization means that YouTube starts pushing these videos out so more people can watch the coaching and understand this powerful aspect of who they are. They can start understanding that they have a way out of suffering. But also, you go to fearfreehuman.com, it's in the description. You can sign up on my email list and you can get access to coaching for this month. And all of the dates are put into YouTube right there. You'll see them lined up, and we'll be sending out emails and links for all the dates coming all the way up to the 31st. The last day I'll be coaching is the 31st of December, New Year's Eve. All right, I'm going to say goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. I'm so grateful that you show up and you're vulnerable and you're wonderful. I'm going to say goodbye for now. I love you. Have a great day. Bye.